What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Questionable Perspective Podcast. I'm joined here today with my co host, Mr. FGC Chris, and we have a special guest, ShadowAce. So, how are you guys doing?
Doing well, sir. How y'all doing tonight?
Doing well. Glad to be here on be my second appearance
Yes,
on
sir.
your podcast.
Yes, and we do
Okay,
appreciate you showing up. Now,
for sure. What?
go ahead.
No, I was saying for sure. Go ahead. Yeah.
All right, for on the docket of this episode, we have Where's the Money At? And then we'll do maybe a little fantasy bracket with the Capcom Pro Tours bracket or groups, excuse me, because those groups have pretty nasty. So the champion for Capcom Pro Tour this year is going to be undoubtedly a hell of a guess. But and what I mean, where the money is at is like I will say, I think it was I was listening to Mike Hollow's um excuse me, what was it? Interview with Mike Watson. That's what it was, Mike Watson. Hearing about how they were getting Evo started up and all of that. And I know you and I and Chris have all ran tournaments and all that, and we know it's not a cheap prospect whatsoever. But also for players to earn money, have I guess the question I want to start off with, have we been sold a lie in the very beginning, or we just had stars in our eyes the whole time, Shadoways?
As far as what saying that there's money in the FGC or in tournaments.
Or just to make a
Ba-
living off of it like some other pro leagues and such?
Hmm. Good question. Um, and I think it relies on how good you are. I think it would be how good you are at the game, because obviously if you're playing well in the game, you're performing well, you're providing results for whichever organization or group you belong with, and that produces uh, the income and necessary notoriety to kind of get your name out there and get you sponsored to some certain events, or just like as long as you're. I feel like it's a performance based metric. Obviously, you can't really promote a player that's not performing well, and that's kind of how that kind of relates to sports too in general. They're professionals, and you're seen as a professional, so you're kind of expected to perform well on your platform. And if you're bringing in results, then you're bringing in money. Now, is it a long-term venture? It's rare. It's I feel like if you have if you have your ducks in a row with the whichever company that you're with at the time, and it it has good financial operations, and you're performing well, then your company is going to see that success. But if the results aren't coming in and they're a bit stagnant, then yeah, you're not really going to see any growth or margin, or the company just may end up cutting ties with you altogether, or they just don't see a financial reason to keep sponsoring or providing funds to your ventures if you're not producing the results. So I would say to an extent there can be money, there can be opportunities, especially now in the time frame that we're in, the era that we're in. This is kind of like the post-COVID era here, where now that everything's a little bit more successful, everything's opening and back up a bit more. There are more opportunities than there were compared into like a decade ago in the FGC. So there's more companies and businesses out there, startup businesses, and just businesses in general, just putting eyes on the FGC, because nowadays it's like what we have, what like an Evo award show that just happened not too long ago. So it's things like that is something that you wouldn't think fighting games would get to that level of in general, and the fact that it has gotten to that point where now it's more of a worldwide venture where a lot of people are starting to put eyes onto the FGC businesses and companies, you're going to start to possibly see more money come in to the FGC. So I think now is a good time to kind of capitalize on those types of ventures while this is kind of like a hot topic out there. You're now starting to see fighting games in more media, commercials, advertisements. You might see a celebrity wear a fighting game shirt here or there. You may see a music artist a fighting game related shirt, or you may hear them put lyrics in their music that are fighting game related. So there's definitely notoriety out there for the FGC, and I think that creates more opportunities for promotion and growth for that subject for that topic.
Now, and you and I know back in the day, before Capcom Pro Tour really kicked off, they were funding that themselves, and so we know tournament organizers like ShadowAce, Shin Blanca, Big E, Alex Jabali, and it's a costly venture to run such big tournaments back in the day. Even Jabali, he runs, let's see, two Dream Hacks, both CEOs, and we know those are at least under 500 grand to run, if nothing else. Maybe less, but given how some of the contracts can run, and just trying to run internet for like 3 days for an event 24/7 really does cost a bit.
Hmm.
And I think I was listening to another interview not too long ago, which sparked another very interesting question, because we're going to kind of peel back to like when I would say this is Mortal Kombat 9 days, maybe partial of Mortal Kombat 10. I'll say 9 because it was Tom Brady. I was listening to Tom Brady about how I think this was MLG or ESL. I'll have to go double check on that, but he was talking about how some people were going to get paid like 18 grand a piece because these people would have been contractors or whatever. But then through and I mean, 10 grand to somebody for 18 grand on like what you would call almost like a bare minimum wage salary for somebody, even us, that early 20s is something to be crazy about. But then you think about the showrunners, they make at least 6 figures, 5 figures. And we're literally just getting table scraps at the bottom. I was like, he's not wrong. Because, and this is not snow slide against anybody that runs CPT or any other big major event. But it's like, where do you see yourself like within X amount of time to earn money? Sure, you have Sonic Fox, Justin Wong, Daigo. All of them have had hell of runs in tournaments just racking up money. But then others, like us, we're kind of just regular Joe Schmoes. We can win our locals, but to really take the top, we have to really take it seriously. But I mean, I know this is just a 1 out of a million guy, Umi, who took Capcom Pro Tour last year. That man just came out of nowhere. Man only had like $300 in his pocket when he came. Won the last chance qualifier, and literally just, we're talking about the star bracket for him just to win the tournament happened, which is pretty crazy. But I don't want to tell people that there is no chance to earn money. It's where can you, because it really does take a lot of money to run these events, and even like your local areas. Because when I listened to that Mike Watson interview, that man, I almost kind of forgot about how much he lost. He lost almost his whole life savings, which is what, 300 grand, just to keep Super Dojo open, or Super Arcade, excuse me. And I mean, listening to that, he was like sleeping at the arcade. I mean, this man was pouring his heart and soul into it. So it's, and if you and I did you ever go to Umi? when it was open back during the MKX days?
Who, me?
Yeah,
Um, no, I don't. I have not heard of. I'm not sure what Umi is.
you don't remember what Umi was?
Mm-mm.
Like Dominion and a bunch of other people went over to Umi. They're
You talking
like
about
Talking about
Yomi?
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 Yumi. Why did I say Yumi? I'm sorry. Umi,
Yeah, I was.
Yomi,
Yeah, I went
Yumi.
to. Yeah, I went to Yomi. Yeah, I went there a couple of times.
And you saw how impressive everything looked. As soon as you walked in that area, and that the place they were renting out was not cheap either. Because they, God, what was it? It's a very well-known dance studios beside them. So I'm trying to remember what stars came out of it, but I mean, as soon as you walked into Yomi, there was a collage for those that I wish I had a picture of this still, but there was a collage of various fighting games, and in this hallway, it would split off three different ways. But you had on the ceiling, on the walls, from Soul Calibur, Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter. Think of a fighting game, it was there. That was not something cheap either, and they had one of the most impressive setups I saw for like streaming. Like their back, I think one of the guy with the top hat, I forgot his name, showed me that back room one day, and it's just it was AverMedia capture devices all along that wall, just for each stream setup and everything. I was impressed, but you was like, where does the bank for that role come from? It has to be investors. But then I'm not going to divulge too much, but that place ended up closing down because they're getting funds from illegal means. Come to learn out some years later. I'm sure you know the story, ShadowAce.
Something to run that type of organizations. I believe like a majority of the players actually lived in
Yeah,
that building. Like
yeah, they
that's where they
did.
lived at. So I didn't really see the full. Like I didn't. I saw a couple of the rooms, but I didn't really go all around the full building. It was like kind of like a warehouse type of environment. I think
Yep,
they had some dogs, but you never saw the dogs, but they were like all the way in a back room. And then you had like upstairs where I guess where everybody's sleeping at, and then there's like more rooms there. But again, these were like I want to say a large group of players that actually lived in that facility and stayed there. And then the fact that they were able to, kind of keep the lights on throughout the time that they were there was just, that's just a testament of like, wow, how are they able to, keep the door open here? Like, I don't know how much it would cost to, like rent per month, and you got utilities and things of that nature, groceries and all that other stuff. But you had all these people living there, um, plus being like the owner and then running, fighting game tournaments and events and things of that nature. I mean, the production was amazing. Like when the first, when the Yomi went public and started letting everyone in for the tournaments and stuff. I was there for like the pre-opening. Like they had like a lot of beta testing tournaments before they like officially open. And I went to a couple of those events. There I remember like the whole throne, the big throne that they had on the stage. Like the production was like ridiculous. But the fact that I mean, eventually, all good things have to come to an end, and that's unfortunate. The unfortunate side of business is longevity. That's kind of like the key thing. I feel with a lot of companies, and not just on Yomi, I'm just like just other companies in general that kind of maintain like a FGC heavy presence. FGC heavy presence, like those venues they're kind of going the way of the dinosaur at this point, especially the tenured venues that have been there for a while. There's still there's still a couple of staples left in states and areas, but for the most part, you kind of see news or clips or something, or someone tells you that such and such shut down, and you're like, oh man, I remember when they ran this, and I remember this, I saw the stream and all that, and they're closing down, and that's just unfortunately how time works. That's how time works. That's how things work out. for it, and then the fact that being able to get the funds and maintain that type of operation, we'll never truly know the real numbers behind it. We'll never we can only estimate and give like a ballpark amount, or whatever someone tells you what they spend on to that, the hardships, and just being a TO. I know it can't be an easy venture because you are investing a lot of money. You may go to companies, you may take out loans. You may have to sell some of your merchandise just to get this event going, and just you make adjustments just to try to keep running things open. And at that point, you just got to be dedicated to the craft at that point, which is why it's not for everybody. It's not everyone can't be a TO. So it's you have to be cut from a certain cloth in order to run and maintain a successful business. And again, unless they tell you directly, you'll never know what someone truly spends on trying to maintain and keep an FGC operation going.
Well, I think we kind of
Do
get
you,
an idea. Oh,
do
go
you
ahead.
think that's a problem? Do you think that's an issue though, that they're not being transparent on exactly what they're bringing in?
Well, it may be a combination of things as to why transparency isn't there. Like maybe it was an NDA that was signed with businesses, or something that they had to sign with a contract where they're not allowed to disclose certain information to the public. Let them know that. You kind of keep your operation cost under belt. So again, unless they tell you directly, you could kind of just, I mean, you can make an assessment or just try to guess on your end. But again, like I said, they would have to actually tell you how much they're spending to that, so you'll know. You're like, dang, because you wonder. I mean, I'm pretty sure we've all been to places like for example, like with Joshua said when you brought up Yomi, and you kind of was wondering, well, dang man, I wonder how much, this will cost. How much this cost to like just keep this place open? Keep the door open for the next month. And I'm pretty sure it's not an easy penny on there. There had to be you would have to be financially well off in order to maintain like the cost of living, to keep something like that going. And it's not and this is why you kind of see people come and go over the course of years. Like the ones who stay the longest are the ones who figured it out, in my opinion. Like they figured out a formula to keep going, which is one of the hardest. Like being a TO, like especially nowadays, is it's a really it's a stressful venture. I would say
Oh
it's a
yeah.
yeah, it's a very stressful venture. There's a lot that you have to dedicate and commit to, and to making everything run smooth and well. And the financial aspect of that has to be on point too as well, which is why everyone can't do it. You kind of see someone who was like, oh man, I'm really interested in running this event, or I'm really interested. I took out this loan. I'm so excited. I bought these monitors. I got these consoles. Everything is updated with the newest version. And, I'm good to go for my launch event. And I got such and such player coming. I got this $500 pop bonus. We're going to have a great event. We're going to have a great time. But meanwhile, you look at it, you think about it like 2 days later after the event gets ran, you think you think there's a smile on the face when they look at those bank statements that come in, how much it costs for them to run to run that event for that one day. I'll give you guys an estimate. I'm not putting any event out there, or putting them out there like that. I would say that there was an event that said that for them to run the event, just to make sure, they had to rent out the venue, they had to purchase new monitors and consoles for that day. They had to purchase the copies of the game. Um, they had to purchase to use the internet at the venue. And they said all of that, they said they spent like almost $5,000 in one day.
That's not
Almost
I
that
five.
agree.
bad.
I think
You
it
said
was
that ain't
good. Oh, go
said that
ahead,
ain't
Shadow.
bad? Said that ain't
That's
bad?
I
considering.
think
Go ahead.
I think right now, currently, the FGC is behind when it comes to like finances. Because when I'm looking around at the scene, I'm like, we need to be better customers. Like going into these events, like these vendors are paying all this money to come in here. They're not coming in here to basically just to be friendly with you. They're coming in here to sell a product to you. Because I remember when I went to MaxMode, like I made it a specific point to go to every vendor at MaxMode and buy something. I still got my MaxMode shirt, my MaxMode hat. I bought from all the artists there. Even if I really didn't want it, I still bought something just to really help support the event. So these vendors are basically like, okay, this is actually worth our time to come here. So I think we kind of need to start being better customers and not just I paid my entry fee, I came and I played, and I just got up and left.
You're right, but you got to understand and remember, Chris, that some tournament goers, I'm here just to play. I'm here to try to win the big pot and go home.
That's the wrong attitude to have. If you're trying to make the scene grow, the only way the scene is going to grow if we actually put money where our mouth is.
You're right.
You can't complain about $1 million prop prize at Capcom Cup, which is not $1 million, because he had to pay taxes on it. So he probably only took home, like Tom Brady was saying, he's probably only took home about 675,000 after taxes.
Yeah, but in his country, the exchange rate, he's probably living like a king.
Yep, but you gotta look at Call of Duty, League of Legends. These games, they're getting multi-million-dollar prizes, and we're just now in the second year of getting $1 million. What the Tekken World Tour is what 275,000.
I want to correct you just a little bit because remember, Gamers 8 happened, and then
that was still 400,000 after taxes. It's not 400,000.
And then that was an invitational. So I mean, but then you have the Esports World Cup now too, and that's a lot of money.
How much money did those players get paid? What were their contracts?
Oh no, that was a tournament.
Even you sign a contract with any kind of organization, they take a percentage of that prize money when you win. So we don't even know what percentage they negotiated in their contract.
No, the Esports World Cup was just had like 2 qualifiers. Mr. ShadowAce, I know one was DreamHack Texas. Wasn't Atlanta one as well?
Yeah, it was DreamHack. Yeah, it was DreamHack Atlanta. I think they had one in California too as well.
Let's see here. Esports World Cup. All right, the next one is somewhere between July and August of this year. But they do a ton of games. I mean, they put millions. Like, I mean, this is over in Saudi Arabia, so
$1 million. That's when they came in and they were trying to scout like a whole bunch of players out the FGC to come in because they needed people to play in fighting games for their organizations.
Well, the thing is, overall, remember, whichever team had won most of the events, they got bonus money. So,
but once again, it's the same thing. What percentage did they take?
This is true. I don't know. That's whatever the orgs have came up with that recruited those players. But I know
that's why I say right.
Go ahead.
That's why I say right now the FGC to me is very business illiterate. Because I'm like this, even ShadowAce and Retro had the guys on there and they were talking about contracts and all that stuff. And Jaco Man came in. Like I could talk to Jaco Man because I could understand what he was saying when he's talking about metrics and all that stuff. Like I could understand that.
Oh, that was Vest.
Oh, Vest. I don't know why I'm thinking about Jaco Man. I don't know. I think obviously because he was on my profile, I was looking. But I could understand what he was talking about. Like I could talk with him about business because he has seems to have a very firm grasp on it. Like I don't, because I'm saying, Shadow, because you have a contract with him, ShadowAce. So I'm pretty sure you're pretty versed on business when it comes to negotiating your contract and what you wanted out of it.
Yep. Yeah, having worked with them for several years, and again, it's on business. It's like you would have to actually be you would have to be in a good financial space in order to really commit time to something like this. I'm just gonna be honest with you, and everybody who kind of works themselves to the bone and can barely afford this and this. I don't think you would be. I don't think you should be able. Well, let me put it this way. I don't think it would be a great idea for you to continue to put yourself in a bad situation just to make an event run. You should always take care of what you need to take care of first, and then this is just a hobby. So this should actually just come like one of the last things to be on your mind to get taken care of. I've seen people, hurt over this. I've seen a lot of people. I've seen a couple of people in this scene hurt themselves, literally just trying to maintain and run events here. Like Joshua said earlier about someone having to sleep at the sleep at the venue. Here there were people who, in order to keep I guess keep running events, they slept in the car. They would sleep in their car, and just to I mean, I don't want to really put their situation out there, but they put themselves in that situation because they were just trying to, I guess, run the events. But over time, they eventually saw that this wasn't the wisest decision to make, and they kind of took their ball and went home with it. Said that, I can't do these events anymore. I can't do it anymore. And I have a family. I have to take care of my family, and things of that nature, which is understandable, but you shouldn't have to hurt yourself in order to make an event run. You would have to already be in a good financial space in order to have to, because that at least gives you a peace of mind, right? You don't have to worry if what rent is coming in, or am I going to be able to afford to pay this, and this month if I decide to do this. That should never be in your game plan, in your mental stack, if you're running these events. And again, I've seen that type of situation happen where someone put themselves in that scenario when they shouldn't have. When taking care of other business should have came first, and now it kind of puts them in a black hole, and now they're kind of like sitting in debt because they just taking out loans to try to keep things going. So I just think that in order for you to get the most maximum profit out this with the least amount of worry and stress, you need to already be in a good financial headspace. But that's just my opinion. I mean, if people really want to, do this, and they don't really care about the financial repercussions about it, then that's on them. But I just think, yeah, you would just need to be well off financially in order to be a successful TO, in my opinion.
It's
Mhm.
very
Well,
true.
let me get your opinion on something. I've seen a couple of pro players floating the idea of like tournaments like CEO Combo Breaker, making those invitation onlys. So now the sponsors are getting more screen time because their players are on, and it could ultimately bring in more money if it's just invitation only instead of just being open. That the open bracket system doesn't work anymore.
Mm,
Then you're isolating a certain margin of participants. I understand what you're trying to say. Like, you want these players to come in and compete in these invitational only events, but at the same time, you want to get as many people to your event as possible. You can have both, actually. You can do I mean, you can have these sponsor players go to these events, but I feel what you're saying, because I feel like that's kind of the direction we're heading towards, where these companies are investing. Like, think about what was that event, like I think we mentioned earlier, with the Saudi Arabia, when they had that tournament out there.
the
Um,
Esports World Cup or
and they were,
Gamers 8?
I, was it World Cup? I think it was the
It was
Esports World
Gamers
Cup,
8,
right?
then they transitioned it to the Esports World Cup.
Okay. So yeah, so that for that event, I mean that event had no shortage of money coming in anytime soon. Even when you looked at the crowd that was spectating the event, all of like I'm pretty sure that like 80% of everybody in the crowd were probably investors or someone with a really strong financial standing there in the event. Like they were just observing to see and trying to get an idea of how this whole esports FGC thing goes on. And the production on there was amazing. It just like you could tell there was a lot of money going into it. But for something to happen, what did they have in order to get that to happen? They had to have money.
Yeah.
You would have to have money. I know it is the root of all evil, but in this scenario, like, and this is kind of like the necessary evil because without that type of funding and backing for an event, it wouldn't have went down. It wouldn't have happened. So you've had to, you again, is how can we figure out I feel like because we're in the era of social media, right? We have more people coming in and looking into the fighting games. New fighting games are coming out. There's been no shortage of fighting games. We're in this renaissance era where as more games come out, people want to go back and play the classics or something like that. But there's always going to be a niche fiend for each particular game that comes out. Like whichever game one person enjoys, the next person might not enjoy it, and it goes on and on and on like a cycle. So trying to break down the formula of how to get funds to come into the FGC, I feel like has to be again, the TO has to be there has to be a good flow of income coming within the people. Like the TOs have to be well off financially in order to make something like this happen. I think you need to have. I think you would need to be in a certain tax percentage in order to be a long-term successful TO, in my opinion. And if you're going to be like in a group, if it's going to be like a group thing, like where you have other people working with you and helping with you, it would be that partnership at that point. So you guys are pulling your resources together, so it works even better. But if you're coming in with like less than 3 people trying to be a TO for a scene, you're going to go through some challenges. Because eventually there's going to be a scenario where one person has to step away to take care of something, and then it's just 2 people. That person steps away, then now we're back to now it's just the one person that has to do everything and carry. So communication and teamwork, it plays a long term effect on making something happen. So I don't think you could come in this within a certain financial bracket to do this to run these events. So you can't just be by yourself. Basically, what I'm saying nowadays, if you want to be a good successful team, feel like more or less teamwork will have to make the dream work in order to make it happen. But what do you guys think?
I mean, it is, and the same goes for being a player. I've seen some people. Oh God, who are? I'm not going to name any names, but we know how much a plane ticket in the U.S. costs. Maybe $200 to go up to New York, maybe $300 to go to California. Stay in a hotel. Hey, there's some cheap flights if you use Spirit, anyways.
I looked at the tickets for just going to Evo. Just for 2 tickets, I think me and my wife would have been paying over $2,000.
We got to remember it's a busy time for Vegas too.
Wait wait. 2,000 for you and your wife back and forth.
Back and forth, round trip.
Round trip. 3 days, right?
Mm-hmm.
Economy or first class?
I'm gonna take an economy.
Oh, that's not, honestly. That's
but then again, that was Delta.
Oh well, all right. That explains it.
Yeah, that's not too, especially for that price. Yeah, now I'm thinking about it. Yeah, I feel like that's probably like the average. Especially for that time and the travel and whatnot. It's like
fun.
They're busy.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
No, you got it.
I was gonna say, like last year when I was thinking about going to Evo, I looked at the main hotel. It was a lot of money. Then talking to some of my coworkers that they've been out to Vegas, the Excalibur, literally maybe a block or two down. It's literally just $70 a night. It cheaper during the weekday. It was like $59, $58. I'm sitting here, I'm like, I think I'll stay there if I go. Because, if it's only walking distance, it's fine. I just won't be out at night in Vegas because, dear God, things might happen. New city, don't trust the streets. Got to stay out when it's daylight. That's just me.
Understandable.
But I mean, I think
But that is something that also factors in when players are looking at stuff like, okay, how much this plane ticket's going to cost me? How much is the hotel going to cost me? How much is gas going to cost me? Those are things you kind of have to factor in when you're coming into the scene. Like if you're going to be traveling.
I mean, easily you're spending about a good 300. Either way, regardless if you're traveling out of state, you're spending at least 300. At least 300. And
and
that's just being generous.
But
'Cause
I'm
yeah,
trying.
you find a go ahead.
I said because I'm trying to remember how much I spent going to CEO last year. I cannot remember. 'Kay, it wasn't as expensive as the first year I went. 'Cause I think we might have spent 700 on the hotel, and
I
then
think last time I went was like 400, about 400 for the 3 days because I had to do parking. I think it was like 30 something a day for parking. So yeah, it's about 400 for the
you split
CEO.
your hotel room with anybody?
no, because we had just a single king size room, but I think we weren't on the discount because I think the only rooms you could get was like ones with like twin beds in them, and it was just us two, so we just got a regular king size.
I will
You
say
think about that, like like it's not even just that event. Like say you want to go to an event the following month or 2 3 months down the line. There's another event you want to go to. Well, you got to shell out another 300, up to 300,
Oh no,
and
cause I did Max Mode, I did CEO that year, and I did DreamHack that year.
hmm,
you got to remember some of these pro players they're going to like 8 tournaments, 9 tournaments, maybe more than
back
that
to
throughout
back,
the year, maybe
Yep,
back to
12.
back.
yep. But that's what Sherry was talking about. You have to have financial literacy. It's like if you know you like me personally, I plan out my event, so I know I'm planning out events for next year. So I already be saving up, so I know I have X amount of dollars to spend going here, here, and here. Or
Chris,
if I just want to go to 2 events.
Chris, that's unreasonable. You can't ask people to be financially reasonable. It's unrealistic.
And that'll
But
help them out. I mean that's gonna help them out, man. Like I think more courses and more instructions on financial literacy can carry a long way because
Oh
you can
yes,
definitely budget. You can definitely budget and make adjustments, put aside a few dollars here and there, every check you get or something, and plan out your events. Um, that way, it's just that I think we are in that instance of where people go to events, but they're not taking care of their financial responsibilities, but they're kind of breaking themselves just to get to these events. Like you should never go to an event and just be hungry, right? Like
yeah,
you should never go to an event and say that, oh man, I don't have enough to eat. I mean, I don't have enough money to eat, or then you guys go ahead. I don't have anything. Stuff like that. If you're going out to an event, you should be able to enjoy yourself at the event. You should be able to purchase, food and souvenirs and merchandise to enjoy yourself because you're going there at your
mm-hmm.
leisure, right? You shouldn't go there and just be like, "Dang, man, I guess I'll get this pack of noodles and a cup of water and call it a day." Stuff like that. So I think that I think it would be helpful to have put yourself be like in a better financial state before trying to venture out to these different events because if you know you don't have enough money to go out to this event and you go anyway, you're putting yourself back into the negative because when you come back, you got to take care of whatever you got to take care of when you come back. And then
Yep.
now you got to make up for whatever you spent from the event that you went to. And the event that you went to was you like what 300 or 400 something dollars maybe just to go to that event. If you didn't split a hotel,
Yep.
yeah, it's gonna hurt. So you're putting yourself back into a negative space when you get back from the event. So yeah, that's kind of I don't like seeing that too at events, man, where people say, "Oh man, yeah, yeah, you guys go ahead," what I'm saying, "Yeah, I just don't have enough," and eventually you'll say, you'll say, yeah, man, I got you, or something like that, or yeah, man, you want to eat something, I'll take care of you. But it's just that you should not have to be put into that situation. You shouldn't put yourself into that situation if you know you can't afford to like really go to these events like that, and that kind of just hurts yourself because again, you're stepping backwards because you're spending more money than you would have if you use that money to take care of something you had to take care of before going to the event. But yeah,
Yeah,
financial
Yeah.
literacy, yeah, that goes a long way.
because I remember like because Max Mode, I came to Max Mode. I had pretty much as soon as y'all put the hotels up, I pretty much reserved mines. I just took that out of my savings, paid it, and then just basically knew, okay, I got X amount of months before Max Mode happens. So I just throw out a number. Okay, I'm putting $200 aside every paycheck until Max Mode is here. So I knew when I got to Max Mode, I knew I could pretty much buy whatever I wanted to buy and do whatever I wanted to do because I knew I had already saved up for the money. It's the same thing I did with CEO. Like last year when I went to CEO, I had $1,400 of extra money to spend on just at CEO
Hmm.
because I planned it out in my head like how much do I want to have available to me because I want to buy whatever I want to buy when I want to buy it.
Exactly.
It just you have to start planning stuff out. People need to stop trying to wait for the last minute to try to just do stuff. You have to start planning things out months in advance and start figuring out your budget.
Yep, and
Yeah.
then you wait too long, and then now the rooms are all booked up. You can't book them can't book them no more, or certain rates increased. They're $20 to $30 now more expensive when you register. So then you take a hit on that. Where you could have, you knew you was going to the event earlier. If you took care of you could have saved a good $30 to $40 on this, and would have had an extra to spend. So yeah, it's just being a little bit more aware of that if you want to try to go out to the events. Is kind of all we're kind of looking at here. It's just I think that if you put yourself in that situation, then yeah, you definitely shouldn't be going to events, man.
Yeah,
Definitely should not be going.
and I'm not
Mm,
saying you got to save like I save. You could say like going to certain events. You probably only need. I would say if you talking about buying stuff at an event, you just art stuff like that. Probably have like $200-300. That's about all you really need.
Yep. That's what I did. I think with CEO, I went there the other year. Set aside a little bit for something I wanted to buy from a couple of artists, and then just rest was food money. Because I will
Very
say Daytona had a lot of nice places to eat. Like I mean, damn, it was good food. The only thing
Yeah,
I
Bubba Gump Shrimp was good.
now I'm just to rant just a little bit, and I know CEO ain't going to be in Daytona anymore. But when a couple of us, I think it was Ricardo and Hutch, we went to that barbecue place that was in front of the hotel. That was the most dog shit barbecue place I have ever been to. Like, I mean, my macaroni was cold. My pulled pork was soggy. Like, not the good kind of soggy. It was cold and soggy. The only thing that was warm was the bread on the table they brought us. Hell, the green
The
beans were
only thing that was
unseasoned.
wrong with beer. Oh
The
wait,
damn green beans weren't seasoned correctly. How do you fuck that up? Salt and pepper, that's it. Somehow they did. I'm baffled still to
sounds like
this
they just
day.
it sounds like they just brought you whatever was left over from like earlier. To
No, I
be
didn't bring
honest.
out a leftovers. They scooped it out of the trash can.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That's the way it
Maybe did
felt.
y'all go when did y'all go when it was like closing? When it was about to
No, this
close,
was
or
before they were closing. This was like 2 hours before they were closing. Because everywhere in Daytona was closes at 10 when the beach closes. So
Well,
there's
not
plenty,
everything.
most things. Now,
Not good.
Orlando, everything's open like almost 24/7.
I know it's plenty of pizza places there. Cause I remember the last 2 years that I've gotten to CEO, it's been late at night because I had to work that day, and I get off from work and I just drive straight them 6 hours down there. And I think last time we got there, I think we got there about 11:30, almost 12 o'clock at night, and checked into the room. And the only place was open was It was like a nice little pizza place. And he'll get your pizza, your wings, breadsticks, everything you wanted. And they were like there 24 hours.
That sounds like that one place that used to be near Final Round. I mean, you could. I loved going to that place, and also sad when they closed near the last Final Round. It's a 24-hour restaurant. You could get anything, from Italian food to whatever. It made no sense to me. And
Was it Spondivits?
ah,
Oh, it wasn't Spondivits. Was it? No, it's probably something else.
it was across the bridge from the across from the hotel, the other hotel.
Okay.
But I can remember the owner perfectly. This man was straight up like, I mean, if we were watching the Mario Brothers show from the 80s, this dude could have been Mario's brother. The actor's brother, anyways. The dude had the mustache and beard that go all the way around up top, bald headed, big glasses, nice as could be. This man looked like he worked back in the kitchen himself when other people weren't cooking up meals. Like this man, Jolliest fella, one of the jolliest fellas. I kind of wish I remember. I got his name, but I mean he ran a good business. I mean, I'm not kidding. When I ordered chicken Alfredo, that was a big plate. I was not expecting a big plate, and I paid like less than $20 or something like that. That and like a soup and a slice of cheesecake. This is on the equivalent of. I mean, if you've ever been to the Cheesecake Factory up in Atlanta, you know how big those pieces are.
Mm-hmm.
This was like
Well, which Cheesecake Factory?
the one where you get those giant slices.
Is that the one by the Atlantic Square?
I think so. I've never been to it, but I've seen pictures of the size of those. The slice of cheesecake I got was maybe 40% less than what those were. That was insane to me.
Now, the Cheesecake Factory over there by Atlantic Square is trash. I've eaten there. Me and my wife both ate there, and we both were like, we'll never eat at this place again.
That is understandable. Ooh, click something here. All right, folks. I will say this: be financially responsible. Please don't drive yourself into the ground. Some dreams are worth almost going into debt for, but if it ain't in the cards, don't do it, please.
Mm.
Now, it's time, Mr. ShadowAce, for our shadow bracket. Shadow bracket.
The shadow bracket.
Before
Okay.
we move on to that one, Shadow, were y'all able to free up some more hotel rooms at the event for MaxMode 2?
Now, okay, so you said you registered like quite some time ago.
No,
Um,
I haven't
oh,
registered yet. I'm finna register, but when I looked at the hotel, they were all booked up.
oh, really?
Wow.
Yeah, they were all the hotel rooms were gone. So I'm like, well, I'm just gonna have to stay at a hotel, I think like 2 miles down the road, and just have to drive back over there.
Oh,
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, darn. I didn't think that. I thought maybe like a block was gone. But damn, the whole. Wait. Was it based off of? Were you searching under the code, like the promo code for the rooms?
Yeah, the
Like
promo
the.
code for the rooms.
Okay, maybe it was the promo code that kind of went out because I think they only had a specific amount of rooms that you could use the promo code, and then I'll have to I can double check though. I'll double check it.
Okay.
Yeah, but I think it
Cause,
was just the promo code that probably expired.
okay, because if not, it's no big deal. Cause I had already found a hotel that I was probably gonna go with and just drive back over there. But I didn't know if they were like if they had any rooms open or anything.
Yeah, because I
And
think there's like another hotel like maybe 2 miles up the road from there.
yeah.
Yeah. Mhm.
And even if you stay at another hotel, please still patronize the hotel you're going at that the tournament's held at.
Ah, for sure, man. They
definitely.
want you. They want you to spend.
And I do have this question for your event, Mr. ShadowAce. Have y'all Chris G proofed it? Because that man came in and just swept everybody.
He's looking for a repeat. So
I hope y'all
he's
got
looking
some
for a
good
repeat.
guards in place.
Hopefully we'll see. We shall see. But it is likely he's coming back to collect even more coins. from us. At this point, we're just gonna call them coins.
I did have one more question though. Like Shadow, did y'all not know that City of Wolves comes out like I think 3 days before Max Mode?
And that's why we're embracing the chaos with it. Yes,
I love it.
that's it. Yeah, you would not want to play. I know some people be like, "Yo, a 3-day tournament? This game just came out this week." Nah, yeah. Why you think it's called City of the Wolves, man? It ain't called City of the Bunnies. Okay,
It's
called
whoever
City of the
adapts the
Wolves. You get
fastest.
thrown to the wolves. There you go. It's not called City of the Bunnies. We want wolves, the savageness of the game that's about to be. Plus, people already found a way to crack the trainer mode. So I
Oh
already knew that was
dear.
gonna happen.
The cracks back out there in the streets.
Oh
Yeah,
God.
I already knew that was gonna. Especially they put it on PC. I was like, "Yo, PC, watch, bet." I was like, I guarantee somebody's gonna find a way to crack
Oh,
the
definitely.
beta. Mm-hmm.
I just
They did.
I'm not saying I'm gonna be playing it, but I'm just saying.
we here on Questionable Perspectives do not endorse pirating or anything otherwise. But if you're going to do it, that's on you. Just stating that.
That's you go. That's on you, yeah.
But
We
speaking
don't
of
know nothing
pirate
about
games,
that over here.
there is Like a Dragon, Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii. I can't wait to get that later on. Ooh, it's gonna be so fun. Anyways, all right, y'all see the screen right on our end. I want to make sure y'all see it before I flip over.
Is that what you had the bracket up?
Yep.
I mean, like hold on, let me see.
I just want to make sure y'all see it before I flip over for our audience.
Yeah, I can see it.
All right, perfect.
I see it.
All right, we're going to start with, you know what? We'll start with Group H, and then we will just go in reverse order. Because the only people I kind of know in this one is Angry Bird and Shuto. What about some of these other players do y'all know?
I would like to say Kusanagi.
Oh, that's right.
Kusanagi was one of my picks. He was the Ryu Luke player. Then Lexa plays Gao, I believe. So if are we doing two who's going to make it out?
Yeah, pretty much what we'll do.
Okay. All right. So in that case, then if I'm doing two here, I'll go with. I mean, I gotta go with the first one, right? I mean, I go with Angry Bird. I mean, the Evil Champ, Angry Bird, and then I want to say secondary pick. I got Kusanagi.
All right, for mine, because I kind of want to go with. I'm going to go with the obvious choice, Angry Bird. But I want to pick Lex. I don't know too much about him, but I think he might be a contender. But this is kind of, out of all the groups, this seems kind of the most. It seems kind of obvious who might pop out. All right, now for Group G, we have a stacked one. We got Zhao Hai, Kaba, Knuckle Dude, Nephew, Juicy Joe. Juicy Joe's the only one I kind of don't know, along with Kills You. But that's a stacked bracket.
He's a really good JP player.
Which one?
Ooh, Juicy Joe.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I've seen a couple of his tournaments.
Okay. All right, JP's always a menace, and
Definitely.
I don't think that is a fun matchup for Gal, right?
No,
JP
not really.
versus
No.
Okay, I was about to say I know that doesn't sound fun for Gal. Okay, but we'll see. I guess I'll go with I'm gonna say Knuckle Do, and then I'm gonna say Zhao Hai.
All right, for
Zhao
me.
Hai has the killer instinct simply because he's a SNK legend, and he also is like really good at Street Fighter 6 too as well. So combine those two elements, especially what it takes to be a really great player in KOF games. Yeah, that's kind of my solid pick there. So I'm doing Knuckle doing Zhao Hai.
I understand. Definitely someone that can play SNK games. Definitely don't underestimate them because those games are not easy. Period.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I just want to point this out because I really hope this is a match. I want to see Knuckle Dude versus Kaba, just because the whole whoever is the best guy in the world shenanigans to be settled here. I want to see that just for that. But in this
But that's
bracket,
that's what the group stage is. I mean, everybody has to play each other in the group.
ooh, this is gonna be
Mhm,
nuts.
Yeah,
mhm.
yeah. They've been jawing at each other for a minute now. Trying to, it's time to just see.
I mean, Kaba is a
Time to,
good guy, but he ain't no Knuckle Dude. Now,
yeah.
for my picks in this, I want to go with Nephew.
Okay, Dark
Nephew,
Neff.
Nephew's. I think this might be his year to really take it. Man's really
Wait a
been
minute,
putting
what
in
you
the
mean?
work
You mean take it as far as like make it out of the bracket or
to get out of the
make it?
bracket.
Oh, okay,
So
to get out of the bracket. I was about to say
I
because this is.
believe he will
Mhm,
because he has
okay.
put in the work. And the other pick is going to be Knuckle Dude. Obviously, slightly biased. Love my boy Knuckle Dude.
Hey, dude, dang.
Now,
That's part of my pick.
all right. Now for Group F, we got another stack bracket. This is ridiculous. We got Big Bird, Oil King, Zhao. Now, I'm not familiar with Jack. LaShare, I partially know. Now, this Ural
Yeah,
Vel.
I'm about
Ural?
to say Jack is just a kid.
Oh, he's just a kid? Oh,
Yeah, but he changed his name to Jack.
oh, God. Never mind. Just a kid. He's a terror. He's part of your Foot Clan, Chris. I know that. You Jerry players disgust me.
He's a foot soldier. One of the foot soldiers.
I don't know what we're gonna do with them. They need to be locked in a padded room. All right,
Mm,
All right.
everybody thinks she's better than she is.
you're just downplaying your character
This
so she gets more buffs. I know what you're doing.
She hasn't really gotten any buffs that last patch.
All right.
what does she need?
She don't
Hey,
need nothing.
She needs a fireball.
He's a fireball. Okay.
She got a
Real fireball.
fireball.
Yeah, they need to
I,
give her. They need to give her Street Fighter 4 stuff back.
No, no, dear God, she will be a menace. She's already enough of a menace.
The fact that she has a hard time against Shotos is because she has no fireball that clashes with them. Like her fireball just floats them on the ground. So
mhm.
she can't really get involved in the fireball war. So she has to kind of store to kind of block it. But even if I store to block it, I'm minus. So it's still his turn. They need to give her some tool to deal with fireballs.
We'll come to that soon enough. All right, out of Group F, Mr. Shadow, who are your picks?
All right. So I got Oil King. Um and Lashar. Oil King and Lashar for me.
Oh,
Lashar plays Ed. Really strong Ed player. Ed is more of I feel like he can fight even with pretty much everybody in the game. So that kind of helps him out because there's no like really definitive weakness to the character. But for the most part, like I feel like he can fight everybody. So that's good. That's good enough to like hang with a good majority of the cast. So we'll
just don't
see.
ever do the backsway. God,
The change.
that stupid change.
Hmm.
Even in the stupid combo guides, the character's still getting hit. Anyways, my choice is going to be Just a Kid because he seeing him going from being the little kid getting beat up in Brian F's streams to being the player he is now, really cool to see. I think he will make it out of this. But then there's Zhao. Love always watching Zhao. Great DJ player. It's also God, what was the character he played Street Fighter 4? Jin.
Yeah, getting play.
The hardest character to ever play. And he was like, what? And they're like, only two or him played him?
Yeah, I remember the. I don't know if you guys remember the super old the meme where it was like the guy was I guess it was two people playing a match and it was like the thought bubble and it showed again doing like 1,000 different things, and then the other guy playing was just using Fei Long, and all he did was Rekka. I gotta find that. That was a classic. Yeah.
All right, now we're going to move on to Group E. Now this is still a good one, tough bracket. You got Mr. Crimson, you got Fudo, you got Daver. How do you say that?
Eber
Diver. I almost want to say
taking
Diver.
a taking a dive in the bracket.
And then there's Limestone, and then Chris CCH, and then Menard. All right. Now we know all the Limestone's the only one I'm not familiar with on Diver. Do y'all have any info on these guys?
Yeah, Diver and Limestone are probably the only two in that group I haven't heard of. But not to take anything away from them, but they could be doing upsets. It could be an upset, and they could come through and make some noise.
We'll see.
See,
So who are your choices, Mr.
but
Shadow Ace?
I got Mena RD. Um, I don't know because so the thing about with Mena is that he did win Evil Japan. I think
Yep.
some people forgot about that. But the fact that also they say, "Oh well, Mena fell off after that," and I'm like, "What? Like you don't just win something that big and then just immediately fall off like that?"
I think he
But
overstretched himself trying to play 5 characters.
yeah, I think maybe if he's really as focused and determined as the old Mena from last year, or like the lock in, the real full version of him, I think he'll do well. And I think we'll see if he still has that passion when that time comes. But I'll still root for him. But I'll root for him to come out through the loser side because I don't know if he really likes the game like that. I know like some of his posts are kind of like not too fond of it as at the moment. But if he's really that determined and really wants to win, he can lock in the spirit of the old Mena, and he could possibly do it. So I'll say Mena, and then I'll say Fudo.
Understandable. Now, I know it's been a minute since I've seen Mr. Crimson like play, just me personally watching him, but I know him to be a good player, so he'd be my first choice. And I'll go also with Mena, just knowing he's got what it takes. But the rest of these
He's
guys,
been there.
he has. Because
He's definitely been there.
was Mr. Crimson a Sea Viper player back in Street Fighter 4? Or am I thinking Wolf Chrome or someone else?
That's a good question. I don't know if Crimson played 4. I'm not 100% sure.
All right.
Um, for them from 5, them playing Dawson in 5, but I don't know if they played. I don't remember if they played 4.
All right, I'll have to go look that up later. All right, now for Group D, we got Brewski, Bravery, Vexbow, Blaze, and Idom, and then Armorer. I'm just gonna call him Emperor. Armorer.
Just call him Emperor.
Yeah, might as
He's the
well.
Emperor.
Armorer.
All right.
I assume that's how you're going to pronounce it.
Call him Emperor and call it a day. But yeah, this group, this is probably another interesting group. Um, I keep hearing things like Blaze. I see some people like, oh yeah, Blaze this, Blaze that, and I'm like, yeah, I haven't really heard of Blaze like that. So, but apparently he's very good. Obviously he's good. He made it here in the Capcom Cup. Um, but if I'm gonna go with a pick, I'm going to go with Broski, simply because he is a fellow Jamie player. He also plays Aki, which is Aki, a really strong character,
Yes.
too, as well. Um, and uh, hmm, I say bravery. I say bravery. The only reason why I'm not really 100% sure on Item, not to take anything away from Item, but he's kind of in that same camp of Mena, like where it's they may be on the fence about how they feel about the game overall, so they may not be as focused and determined to win in it, but they're playing because they know the game and that they had earned their spot to compete. They're still competitors, so they're gonna keep playing the game. But if you don't really have if you're in that mental stack of not really enjoying the game, I don't think your performance will reflect that. Well, I think I think your performance will reflect that. I'll say so. Yeah, you want to go with someone who kind of like accepts it for as is, and just was willing to try to learn and get better and things of that nature. So, I'll say Broski and Bravery then for mine. So.
My first choice is probably going to be IDOM, and I'm going to disagree with you a bit because he, regardless of everybody telling him you could play somebody better, he really stuck it out with Manon. She she's a snowball character, and she is terrifying when she starts going. Because if someone at least gets 4 medals, just one attack grab or command grab, there goes your health bar. Just alone, and you can't sleep on Manon either. She has the range of good normals. Them legs are scary for a judo character, and
Yeah, yeah.
because he really proved it when he qualified. So I'll give Idon that. So I think he's locked in and ready to go. Now the other one, it will be Broski because I just don't. I'm not too familiar with all the others, and Broski really stuck it with Aki, and some of those buffs they gave her really solidified her more because she's a character that can really just do like what Guile Chun-Li can do, put a projectile out and walk behind it. She has 3 variable. She has at least 3, 4 good options for anti-airs, and then she's literally the better Fang. Obviously, whatever he was doing, she does better now, and she can just put you in scenarios. You good luck. You better guess right, because if not, you're getting poisoned, hit with it knocked into the corner, and now I have to deal with like, is she going to slither in front of me, command grab, or what? It's just. Mm. All right, now for Group C, we have. Huh? I'm going to start from the bottom. Taquito, Dual Kevin, Zengi Bolod. Bolado? Okay, hopefully I
Bolado,
pronounced that right.
Zangy, Bolado. Mm-hmm.
And then it's Kakaru. I think is it Kakaru?
Akaru, yep.
Okay, I did pronounce it. I thought it was spelled differently. It was weird. Jab him, and then forgive me if I mispronounce this because this is a weird one. Jabel? Jabel? The hell do you pronounce that?
E.G. Halabel.
Oh, it's Gigi. Is that how it's pronounced? Gigi Halabel?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm sorry. The way some people spell out their names and everything, the way people put them on here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm at a loss. All right. So, who are your choices, sir?
I'm going to go with Kakaru. Um, I'm wasting a little time on that. Kakaru. Easily one of the best JPs out there. Period. I would say easily top 3 JPs. Probably best hit top JP out there. He won that Sports World Cup event, I believe. There with his JP, and then I would say it's kind of a toss up between Dual Kevin and Taquito. I feel like Taquito, his kin is strong, but I feel like Dual Kevin, he has really good defense. I feel like Dual Kevin's defense is really strong. And I feel like that will be like an underdog pick. but I do think that Dual Kevin could definitely make it out, for sure. Taquito obviously has the most experience out of the possibly out of the whole entire group, so he's kind of the veteran in there. But I feel like with the speed and reactions that are required for this game, I feel like Dual Kevin definitely has that in spades. So I'm going to say Kakaru and Dual Kevin for my picks.
This is Dual Kevin, a Ken player, if I'm not mistaken.
No, he plays Rashid.
Rashid? Hmm.
Uh-huh.
Okay. All right. Now, I'm just going to go just because Takedo, obviously, he's a veteran. He knows ups and downs all the way around Street Fighter. And then,
Mm-hmm.
just because I'm a biased man, I'm going to pick the JP player, Kakaru. I know, listen, I mean, I'm going to be hella biased.
I'll be a little biased, even though I play the same character. You know.
And I don't know too many. And I mean, obviously, the Zangief player always fears Zangief because, dear God, if you get thrown once, you may get thrown again. Zangief is a walking blender. Good luck. All right, now Group B. Salty Kid, I'm not too familiar with, but I think I've heard of him. And then we have Sai Enki. And then we have NL. Now, correct me if I'm wrong on this. Grand Totaka?
Grand Totokai.
Grand Totokai, okay.
Yeah.
And JB and Noah the Prodigy. Now, who are your choices out of this?
Let's say let's do. I would say Noah the Prodigy. Um, Obviously one of the most controversial players out there now, and you know he's gonna lock in. He's definitely gonna lock in, for sure, and make history. I think he has the momentum, he has the confidence, be a fan favorite. But he does have those that do support him, and I think he just has a good spirit. So I'll say Noah, and then on my second pick, oh man, I'm gonna go with NL. NL has always just been a really, really strong player here. So they've had quite a hit. They've been in these so many different times, and they're just a veteran. So they like some of these players. This may be like the first appearance of some of these players, but because they've been here before, they have the experience and the knowledge to sort of outshine that. So we will see. So we got experience versus new versus old. So we'll see what happens.
Very true. I guess I'm going to kind of go for a mystery pick because I'm not too familiar with all of these folks in here. But I'm going to pick Salty Kid just kind of for the mysterious fighter. Now,
Hmm.
Noah the Prodigy. He's what, 18 now?
Uh, he's not a kid no more.
But I mean,
Let's put it
he
like
grew
that.
up fighting in the streets, literally,
Mhm.
because he was like what 12 when he started playing.
Was it? You're probably younger than that. I think it was. I think he's been playing longer than. I think he was like 8 years old or something. Like coming
Damn.
into the FGC. Yeah.
Well, he's the young blood coming in, so he's my other pick because I mean he's as just stated, he's just been doing it since he was a kid. So I think he's got what it takes to go all the way to take even the pro tour. We'll see. Now, Group A, this is another bloodbath waiting to happen. You got Phenom, Takamaru. I'm not familiar with Hot Dog 29. And Salvatore, I'm not very familiar with either. But we all know of Itabashi Zangief. And then the main man himself, Punk. Now, who are your choices in this?
Hmm. Interesting that Punk gets that first group, the Group A draw. So they'll likely be the first up to play. Group A's are first the first group out. So Um, I am going to say Punk, and I am going to. Sheesh, that's a tough call for a second pick because I want to say Itabashi, and then I also Hot Dog is also ridiculous as well. I mean, this whole pool is kind of this whole pool is like stacked, but at the end of the day, we got to make the choices. So I am going to say Itabashi Zengi.
All right, good choices.
Those
Obviously,
are my
I'm
two.
very good choices. I will go with Punk because that man really pushed himself to win Evo last year. So, and I think he may push himself to get out of this pool or group, excuse me, and even take the full tour. Now for the next pick, I want to go with Phenom because I know he's really upped his game this year, or just to get to this point. So we'll see. This is one of the other three brackets that just I don't know. But it's whoever has the drive to really get it. But we'll see. All right, now I kind of leave it there because once they get really up to that, it'll be the top eight. Now, out of all our choices, who do you think will take this group draw? Out of our choices,
Like the group, like
just a whole shebang to get
the
out of this
whole
group,
shebang.
out of this group here,
Oh,
to just
to
get
get out the group.
yes, just to get out of the
Oh
whole
yeah,
thing
just
right
Punk.
here.
Yeah, Punk. Yeah, Punk to get out of Group A.
Oh no, I'm talking about out of our eight picks. Who do you think is going to get out of all of this? Or did I not?
So
Okay, never mind.
yeah,
Never mind.
so what ends up happening is the two players are gonna go like two from each is gonna get like a top 16, and then that's the bracket that's gonna be for Capcom
Oh,
Cup.
okay. I was getting a little ahead of myself there. I was thinking, I don't know why I was thinking this is the last chance qualifier. All right,
hmm
but let me rephrase it. Now, I guess who do you think will take? Well, you said Punk. Hmm. I kind of want to say Noah. I really want to say Noah will take the whole thing. Just,
You think Noah's gonna win Capcom Cup?
it's a possibility. I think he
That
has the
is true.
drive and everything.
He
I
has the
mean,
drive impact for sure.
all these folks that are on this list got there, and
They did
they
get
each have won various tournaments, even a couple of Evos and all that. But I think the young blood's going to take it. I really do.
Man, that would be a legendary story. I feel like I don't know. Nah, it's not gonna be straight. That'd be too obvious. But yeah, yeah, it definitely is possible. Um, again, I can't take anything away from the guys that we haven't mentioned, like or the ones we're not too familiar with, because they could easily just come back out and could show out and make upsets. That's possible. It's a very volatile and fast-moving game, so I feel like one or two mistakes, and that's the round. And if those players make the one or two mistakes, they could end up losing, even your favorites, even our picks. So I feel like it can go either way. I don't think it's like a real guarantee. Like, dang, they're gonna make it out for sure, for sure. I feel like yeah, we make the picks, but there could be like this lingering doubt in the back that says, "Oh man, but what about this person?" So depends
This
on
is
who
why
does
we're
their
not.
homework.
Yep.
See who does it. Mhm.
This is why we're not betting on this either.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh
it'd
man,
definitely be a good event to watch for sure.
But once they make it out into the top 16, did they re randomize the bracket again, or is just
Yeah, I mean it'll basically be like a fresh bracket, like everyone's starting out on the. Well, I think what it is like it depends on the winners and the losers. So the person with the higher record, higher number of wins, they get a higher seed than the second person who comes out of the bracket too as well, and they consider that like it's weird because they consider that like the loser side, which is odd, seeing how it makes sense because they did lose, several of that matches. But I think they get like a lower hat. They get seated to loser side if they make it out.
Hmm.
So it's just the whole format is like different. So yeah, you get 2-2-2. Yep. So it's 16, 2, 4, 6, 8. Yep.
Well, Mr. Chris, I know you and Shadow have already done one, but who's your overall? Do you think will take the whole cup? Who is your one pick for that?
I'll probably put it on Punk. I just feel like this is year.
It might just be stars align right. It might be, but all right, folks. I think that's going to cover everything that we wanted to cover in this episode. I want to thank you again, Mr. ShadowAce, for joining us. And if you don't mind, go ahead and promote MaxMode because I know some people might be able to go.
Well, yeah, Maximo goes down. Can't believe it's year 2 already. It feels like we just did one not too long ago, and then now we're here in year 2 already. So more games added to the lineup. More people coming in this year, so it'll be even bigger. Believe it or not, it didn't feel like it, but apparently there was like 400 something people last year. But I guess because everyone was like in close vicinity, it just looked like like a normal event. But there were apparently 400 attendees altogether. And I'm guessing that already includes like the spectators and like casuals and stuff like that, the non-competitors. I guess yeah, that would make sense. But this year, yeah, we're expecting twice as many people for sure for the event. For those who couldn't make it last year, they plan on saying sign up and run it back this year. So because remember, FTC Chris mentioned earlier about the code going out, and I remember the code kind of was still there last year when we were doing the registration. So the fact that it isn't showing anymore may be like, dang, they may have ran out of blocks to for promotion. So we'll see what happens. I mean, obviously signups are still open and available for the event. You want more information on that, you can visit FGC, Data FGC's Twitter page at data_FGC, or just put in Data FGC and some information will pop up to get to their Twitter. In the registration, you can find a page from there as well. So looking forward to that event. Looking forward to see new faces, see some old faces, and play some games.
I'll make sure to
I
have
say,
all available links for Max Mode in the description for you folks.
yeah, because I just wanted to check it again to make sure it's yep. Submitted dates are not or invalid for this date.
Oh yeah.
So
Alright.
yeah, there it's gone.
He said, "There's no more. That's done." He said, "If you didn't capitalize on that when it
You
was
were late.
available, you were late." There you go. But yeah, I mean, I think there's other venues around that. I mean, not other venues, other hotels around the area that you guys can still check out. Still need that space there. But yeah, the main hotel is always the more optimal choice for sure when going to the events. It can kind of save your parking space. And plus, there's a lot of things to do in the hotel too as well. They actually have like a steam room or so. Oh,
Ooh, that does sound
Yeah.
nice.
Well,
they got like
the bar
they got a
area is
steam
actually nice.
room. hmm I kind of I was up there. I was there doing the steam room, and like, yeah, I felt refreshed after I got out of this. So, yep, get you a good steam going. Just a lot of good amenities around the area. They got a bar if you want to, get some drinks in and enjoy the festivities of the event. I think they had the 24-hour arcade
Yeah,
Oh,
back in there. So
oh,
if you like,
nice.
you sleepwalk to the arcade and you can play there.
Oh,
good
dear
food.
God.
hmm Definitely.
All right. Well, once again, thank you, ShadowAce, for joining us. But that'll be it for us, folks. All available links for Max Mode and Mr. ShadowAce's socials will be down below in the description. Y'all have a wonderful day or night. Have a blessed one.